Hey, welcome everybody. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our podcast. We come to you every Tuesday. Isn't it every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday.
6 p.m. And we've been doing this we're going on 7 years. Yeah. All right, 7 years. The podcast happened with the pandemic, but we always had the video minutes after our live meetings. And hopefully we're going to get back to a lot of stuff. May look a little bit different, may look a lot the same. But I'm Brother Washington Muhammad, one of the co-founders, along with Mike Leonardi, who I shared a friend-iversary. Is that what they call it? A friend-iversary this week. All right, Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bay had this wacky idea that regular people could come together with their skill sets and speak truth to power regarding politics, education, whatever's going on in the community. We didn't have to bring somebody, so-called leader in. We are it. And we've been doing this. And today I have on my glasses from Optigo. Got a shave going on today, not only my face, but, shaved off almost all of my hair. Almost all of it. And I've got my shirt from Maurice Wormley. It says, "Yesterday, you said tomorrow." And this is a tip of the hat to all of our young people that are striving for excellence. Most of the older people will tell you to wait. It's not your time. Listen, do it. If you're going to do it now. And hey, it's awesome to be with you. I think I'm going to turn it over right now. Oh, and always I'm dedicated and committed to defend all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. And this is the home of Black Lives Matter. Injustice or else. I got it written down right there, so always remember that.
Oh, that's what that says.
That's right. Home of Black Lives Matter, Injustice or else here in Toledo. We do it the way that we want. We're the boss of it, and that's that. Period. With the T on the end of period. And, right. Let's pass it over to Jody. If you can introduce yourself. What do you have on? Looks like you got one more wristband on. I didn't know that you can fit one more on, but could you introduce yourself, something about you, and I think you've got the mission statement.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth. I'm the treasurer of this wonderful organization. I'm a big, brown-skinned, cinnamon-toned bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and clothing that is representative of my community. Right now, I have a flat shirt on, one of the organizations we've partnered with in the past. I wear non-descriptive clothing that's not like any corporation or Nike or something, because I am constantly flooding dollars back into my community instead of giving it to some slave owner's family that never mattered. The hat that I have on is Filthy Feathers, another local Toledo organization and clothing company you can shop with. Brother Washington mentioned the bands under my arm. So some of these are these are all organizations that I run, but some of them, like Black Lives Matter, that will be for us. On each arm, I always have at least my three, which are my art companies, the books, the spoken word, stuff like that. And then other organizations. Right now, I still have a hoodstock on from 2019. We got that coming up in August, and a wristband in memory of somebody that lost their life during the pandemic and everything like that. And Fitbit, thanks to my job, they gave us Fitbits and stuff like that, and $100 at 1,000,000 steps.
What?
We completed. So, we got marching and stuff coming up this June. So I don't think that 1,000,000 goal will be hard for me to get. And this is our mission statement. Also, you may
Can I get in on that? I'm sorry.
What's
100 steps?
That's solely for.
Is that only for employees?
Yeah, but Fitbit has other things, so you get a Fitbit.
Right, you can do it yourself. You ain't got to get paid.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
I'm trying to get
You go to
paid,
their
Brother
website,
Washington.
Well, I know, and this is again not a shameless plug for Fitbit, but if you do go on their website and make a purchase from them, again, I didn't buy this, Job bought this, but they have all kinds of programs and fitness training things that you can go on. There's always national stuff going on, but I'm doing it because I'm already there at work. There's an extra $100 for stuff I'm going to do anyway,
Right.
and I can just go back into my community. So this is our mission statement. We do this every week consistently. So we do go back to in-person meetings, which we've been talking and discussing, brainstorming some things.
Yeah.
Maybe sooner than you think, maybe
Hey,
not. But
that's right.
we do this so we can keep that same structure because over this year, I believe this month is our 1-year anniversary of doing the podcast. And there's been a lot on organizations to kind of refine their structure and Zoom call each other. So we go over our mission statement and the other stuff through this. So you have a base of what your organization might kind of look like. It shouldn't be bickering and fighting or people that show up at different times or give you different times. This is your foundation. So as long as you can follow this foundation, you should be good. And then ask the people that's been there longer than you how you can apply yourself to greater improve your organization. But our mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014. Announced that the killer in Missouri, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the fact that most often injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, or harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often police brutality goes without consequence or accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of civil disobedience, event disruption, citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events to help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all, it's all lives to matter. Black lives must matter. An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And for everybody out there, so if you're wondering, you might see some beads running down our head. It is very hot in the studio today. You might hear some sounds from the outside, some motorcycles, some four-wheelers or something going by because we got to keep the windows open. And we are prepared to get a fan soon, but again, it could mess up sound quality. So we'll be testing as the temperature gets to very humid and sweltering.
We might just need to pay our central air bill. All right. For real. So we'll hit Jody up to see what he can do about that.
Mars said, I'm going to leave the door.
Okay. Yeah, we got the door open right now. So while everybody's talking, I'm going to fix that just in case we got some people running up the stairs. But back to y'all.
All right. Now, if we can go ahead on with Julian introducing himself. We didn't even say our gender pronouns. All right. But I know I didn't. He and him for me. For Jody, what was it?
Okay. Yeah, I'm back. I know y'all hear me jingling in the background. But yeah, my gender pronouns would be him, he, and we. We, because I run 6 boards in this city. I'm an elected official, 895 groups on social media, 26 pages, and I never stop seeing notifications. So the we is the community of me being this walking billboard that will walk into any place, anywhere, anytime, and just be Jody. So that is the we.
All right. That's what's up. All right. Julian, if you can introduce yourself. What do you have on? And I think you're gonna leave with the God and Christmas. Don't be looking at me like that. You calling me out?
No, I ain't say nothing. I ain't even say nothing.
Me out without calling
I'm learning sometimes that silence can speak volumes.
You made me not feel too smart.
I'm not.
All right,
I'm just
okay,
learning.
all right.
I talk a lot, and I'm learning how to use my silence.
And I didn't know how to take that.
Okay,
all right.
I appreciate the growth. The growth, right?
Wow, okay.
Y'all used to ask me to be quiet.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm like, hey, aren't you gonna
Are you going to say something, Julian?
Aren't you gonna interrupt? Hey, that's a shout out to Root.
Everybody knows. I only interrupt when Root's here. All right.
Hey. All right.
Yeah, we miss you, Ruth. All right. My name is Julian Mack. Preferred gender pronouns are he, him. And I'm wearing a Toledo-ish shirt. Shout out to Armand. I can't remember the last name, but this is a new brand that's starting. I just want to give a shout out to this Black-owned company, right? There's a lot of people that do transport for, you may not know this. If you have health insurance, you can get a ride to your doctor's appointments.
Oh, awesome.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know that. And there's an entire industry that's developing around that, different cab companies, right? And Beautiful Transport, spelled BEYOUTIFUL, is a Black-owned cab company. And when I was going to a lot of my treatment, because I had an issue with anxiety on the large buses. I had an anxiety attack on one of them. And so there was a real issue with that. And so because of that, I was able to get my insurance to provide a cab for me. And it worked great. So shout out to Beautiful Transport with Sonia Swain and Armand, who started the Toledo-ish company. And I'm also wearing a guillotine necklace. Shout out to the French Revolution and redistribution of wealth.
Eat the rich?
Eat the rich.
Yeah. All right,
off with their heads.
All right, I'm with that.
Death to capitalism.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that.
Oh, yeah. And these are the guiding principles.
Okay. I'm like, and that's our show.
Yeah.
All right.
All lives can't matter unless Black lives matter. Justice or else. Peace.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. Y'all know. So these are our guiding principles. I'll just get going. Yes, our guiding principles. All right. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
And Ashe means thing. Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. We must embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
All right. Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Our culture. Critical reflection must be part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct and loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love and self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be the driver of our work and is an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor the past struggle and wisdom from our elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of tomorrow.
Ashe.
Ashe, yeah,
Ashe.
Ashe. We consider our mark on future generations. Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement, telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow and our leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
All Black lives matter. Queer Black lives, trans Black lives, presently and formerly incarcerated Black lives, poor and working class Black lives, differently abled Black lives, Black men and women's lives, Black immigrant lives, Black elderly and children's lives. All Black lives matter. and we are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe. All right. Looks like we're off to a good start. Yeah. What we're going to do right now, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk about Juneteenth. We've got two amazing events that's coming up in Toledo. I think there's somebody even putting together a virtual Juneteenth. So stay tuned. This is CSRN Video Minutes. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober, safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
Hey, I'm Dr. P. Not only am I a leadership coach, I'm a change agent, and I'm a race scholar. I've used my study of race to dismantle systems and organizations, but I also use that to help you as the individual become a better leader for your families and for your community.
We are back.
You know, it's the 25th anniversary of the Bankhead Bounce?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
I don't know.
Every day on the show.
Okay. All right. I didn't know
that's
I was
just made
that
up.
old.
That's why we have to fact check, y'all.
All right. No, that's why we have to fact check him. All right. But we're back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, and we're going to get right on into it. We've got a couple of really awesome events coming up in Toledo, one at Frederick Douglass, the other downtown across the bridge on the water at the Glass City Pavilion. We're talking about Juneteenth. And last year, Juneteenth was different because more and more people were embracing it. Maybe the whole country was embracing this idea that when the slaves were emancipated, everybody didn't get the word. All right, there was some of us that still felt that we were enslaved and we weren't.
Yeah.
And I think some still do.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
And we got to talk about that. I've seen Jody online posting about a couple of Juneteenth events. And if you don't mind, Jody, if you could talk about the Juneteenth celebration and the Frederick Douglass, how did you get involved? And what are you planning on doing next Saturday? And you're going to be all day. You signed up for everything, all right?
Well, yeah. Last year I signed up for everything. So I guess a little history lesson on us and what we've been doing in the city over the years. In 2018, after we had already done the Black Lives Matter Awards, Black Lives Matter Day, a scholarship, a film festival,
a mayoral
event. We've done forums from local to the federal level. Gotten people elected, got people kicked out of office if need to be.
That's right.
But one thing we did during that time was join in on other people's Juneteenth experiences, kind of like what we're doing now. But in 2018, we decided to take the reins because there wasn't much going on in the form of that. A lot of people were burnt out for some stuff. So we had our first one there at the Frederick Douglass Center. It was the premiere of Black Men Unfiltered. We had vendors, food trucks. We actually got a city resolution to have Juneteenth recognized as a actual holiday. Also, POWs did the following year, 2019. And we appreciated them, showed up with them. So last year, again, we're not gatekeepers of anything. If you got an infrastructure and people that are willing to do the work and got something set up, we're going to help. We're going to take our resources that we have and help you out at an event. So we did that last year. We joined and I'm looking at the flyer right now, kind of my cheat sheet and stuff. So we joined the, what is it, the Village? It's not on here, on this flyer.
Was it Village Academy with
Village
Alexia
Academy with
Sims?
Alexia Sims, Gunnar Day.
I'm name dropping just in case y'all didn't know. All right, I know these people.
Okay.
We do know these people.
Hey.
Reggie Williams. We joined all of them and had a march because of all that last year was from the Swainfield Plaza in Defiance. I think it's called the parade this year, but it's still, you know, what it is. From Swainfield Plaza to the Frederick Douglass Center. There we had the Toledo Orchestra. We had some information booths up. This year is going to be twice as bad and twice as big. So
that's
we
right.
also have now, again, the orchestra, Toledo Symphony Orchestra showing up. We'll have food trucks. Last year, I don't think we had food trucks because it was kind of like we had a couple of days to get everything going and stuff like that. And then there's been a lot of new city restrictions and things you can do as far as events. I'll talk about that later in my second segment with the boards and all that stuff. But food, they're going to have vendors, youth activities, and it's a completely free event. Juneteenth is our celebration, unlike July 4th, which is not our celebration because we still want free. That's what this is about. So it's not about protesting and die-ins and demonstrating. It's just about the celebration of a people's culture. So if you have any problem with Juneteenth, you might need to check your own identity and own culture for all the other holidays we're supposed to celebrate for y'all. But that's going to be at the Frederick Douglass Center from 1 to 5 p.m. We also have, so again, last year was just wild as far as anything you can imagine as an organization. So a whole bunch of independent people took over Walbridge Park, which is across from our Toledo Zoo. Not really took over, but we just had, you know, a family picnic or barbecue. And it was a whole bunch of vendors, a whole bunch of musicians, artists, and stuff like that. And we're doing it again. Unfortunately, I don't think for whatever reasons they were able to secure Walbridge. So we're having it downtown at 983 Front Street at the Glass Pavilion. I'll be a part of both. I was a part of both last year, although this year I will be performing at the second one. Oh, so wow. This one is the Family Fun Day. I'll be performing there at 4:30. I'll also have a vendor table set up so you can get the books, the artwork, the crystals, dream box, all that good stuff. And me and Brother Washington will be doing double duty because not only is it just me, but our organization has a table at the first one, and then we'll be having a table at the second one later on in the day. So again, if you want to get something locally direct from an entrepreneur whose money is going to feed their family and not buy some trinket or fly off to somewhere so they can just look down on everybody, come out, support your people.
That's right. That's right.
Do something or get involved. You might find an organization there that's just trying to get their feet off the ground, and they just might need you. That person that's coming up to their event to say, that's the thing I needed. Now we're just soaring without having landing gear down. Anyway.
All right. Well, I think last year it was, I know I was at the Doug. We had Julian, we had Ruth, because you had the bullhorn. Just for you, what does Juneteenth mean for you? And why is it, Julian, why is it relevant, still relevant, that we celebrate this day? How would you answer that?
Well, right in our mission statement, it says we celebrate our mistakes and we learn from our mistakes and our victories. And I can't think of any more substantial victory that we've had in this land than the liberation of us from chattel slavery. Right? It's important that we acknowledge and celebrate what our ancestors did and the sacrifice that we made. You know, essentially, you know, I mean, it was a group effort. But Black folks, without the effort of Black folks, we did a lot to free ourselves. I want to say that, right? That's really not said so much or talked about so much. Without the enormous contribution of so many Black folks, that Civil War is not won, right? And slavery could very well exist in in the Confederate States of America.
That's right.
Because the United States of America, as we know it today, would not exist. The reason why we have this country and the way it's set up with 50 states, hopefully soon to be more, is because of the contributions of Black people. And all that we free ourselves from chattel slavery. So when we think about independence, when we think about freedom, when we think about the ideals that America is supposed to stand for, we should think about Juneteenth, because that is the day when many of those ideals reach further across the country, and at least some semblance of freedom was realized. But that struggle and that fight still remains today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, freedom ain't free, and every week when we show up here, we pay the cost.
That's right.
You know, for our ancestors and our descendants to continue to be free, because there are folks that very well want to see us back in the chains, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And so we have to continue to push forward to resist. Either we're moving back to where we were, or we're moving and redefining ourselves in spaces as a people that has never been done before, right? So we stand on the shoulders of giants, and we celebrate the accomplishments of those giants on Juneteenth.
You know,
our Independence Day.
Right. And the way I was processing it last year was similar to what Jody said. There were so many independent people deciding that they want to do it, and they want it to look like them. You know, and wanting it to look like you might mean that, hey, you have to move forward out the city of Toledo.
Yep.
You may have to move forward out the United Way, or without my church or my mosque.
Yep.
Why can't we see us without someone giving us permission? And I was so glad for the Juneteenth celebration. I was so glad about the Frederick Douglass and CSRN. And I really can't talk about Juneteenth enough without mentioning Mother Diane Gordon, who in the 90s, she would have Juneteenth celebrations in the parking lot of Southern Missionary Baptist Church. This is located on Indiana. And there were so many people ignorant to Juneteenth. And I think that I could have been in that category also. And, you know, when you're a child, you speak as a child. And my first assignment, one of my first assignments being a member of the Nation of Islam, was to be at Diane Gordon's Juneteenth prevention group there, because our minister, Charles Muhammad, at that time was well aware of what Juneteenth meant to us as a people. And that was one of my first involvements, you know, with Juneteenth. Similar to Kwanzaa, how some of us, just for lack of knowledge, have a wrong interpretation on what it means when Black people celebrate themselves the way that they want to, and it's outside the confines of our former slave masters and their children, meaning that if white people don't give it an approval or stamp of approval, then this is something that's beneath us. So I'm glad that I grew out of that silly thinking. And what it did for me last year, it showed how much unity can exist in our neighborhoods, can exist in our community. And I'm glad that Jody always talks about, no, we're not gatekeepers of advocacy and activism. If you want some, come get some, all right? There's more than enough room to advocate for your people and make your community a safe and decent place to live. So that was my thoughts of Juneteenth, and I'm so glad that the Juneteenth celebration, Alexia, Gutta Davis involved with the this Juneteenth celebration at
The
the
Arts
Dove
Commission.
too. The Arts Commission. And before we get to break, I wanted to show. I don't think that we showed this that Gutter Dave did. Sorry to put it in front of you,
Sorry.
Julian, but
It's an honor.
it's probably the only time that I'm going to shine on this podcast. All right, but Gutter Dave at one of our peace events, he painted this, and he painted it with the vibe of the event. And at the end, he was like, "Yeah, Brother Washington, CSRN could go ahead and keep that." So thank you, brother. That brother's definitely an artist, definitely a motivator, definitely a jewel in Toledo.
One day when we get our great hall of achievements like the NAACP and stuff, that'll be right in there with it, along with all the other stuff that we've collected over the years from activists that saw what we were doing. This is like your legacy.
Hey.
So that picture is signed, babe. You get in trouble. You had to put it on auction now.
Hey.
But
Hey, you just said something, a hall of achievement. Why can't we'll process that.
Yep.
Have our own hall of achievement.
shout out to Shannon, Miss Lady, and what's the other?
Man, I just call them the Juneteenth celebration. That way I don't get in trouble with
The
missing
Family
somebody.
Fun Day. That's the second event. So shout out to y'all for sticking in there, because a lot of organizations have this. I don't know. I've seen it because I sit on a lot of boards, have this idea of let's do a fundraiser and that's it. There's no second, there's no follow-up, there's
Right.
no nothing. So all of the organizations that do make it to their second year, to their fifth year, to their seventh year, we thank you, because that is needed consistency in the community, not just to pop up and go away to make some money.
Right. And speaking of organizations, we're going to take a break. And one of the short clips we're going to show is an organization here in Toledo called Mystery Music. It's ran by Eric Dixon, and his mom and dad Dixons were the band leaders at Scott High School. And these are giants in the community.
Shout out to Brother Dixon. He's cute.
All right.
That's
I
my
don't
frat
know.
brother.
What do you say? I can't.
That's
I'm
my
a
frat
Jordan,
brother.
so
Okay, I
still
thought
shout out to him.
I thought there was a saying that you guys said.
That's my bruh.
Okay, all right. I thought
Yeah.
y'all said something like, okay.
It's some marching and chanting.
I don't know. Let's not get
Room to Brother Dixon.
All right, there you go. That's what I'm looking for. All right. And so check this out. Also check out the other clip. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast.
Mystery Music.
An exclusive one-stop shop for performing arts programs for grades 3 to grades 12.
Promoting academic and social success through the performing arts.
Offering drumline, step team, pitch instrument training, vocal performance training, and theatrical etiquette training.
We've been around for nearly a decade.
Unfortunately, times have been challenging inside of this pandemic. However, with the help of people like you and our adjoining communities, we will be able to get back to helping our wonderful students be the best version of themselves that they can be. So, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, June 9th, 2021, that's tomorrow, we will be launching our all-new Rescue the Arts Initiative fundraiser to aid in supplementing funding for our 5 musical mysteries after-school performing arts programs year after year. Will you help us continue to inspire our students' dreams? Tomorrow, Wednesday, June 9th at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, attend our live stream Rescue the Arts launch party at
RescueTheArts.com.
and let's rescue the arts together.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
we are back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast. I'm with Julian, I'm with Jody, 2 J's, and I guess,
Okay.
all right.
JJW.
All right, yeah, all right. Hey, listen, we're going to get right back into it. Our last segment, we talked about Juneteenth and really what that means. And just to let you know that on the 21st, at Glass City Pavilion, from 12 to 8, and at Frederick Douglass from 1 to 4, we're having Juneteenth. Support both of these days, and if you can, connect with Shannon, Miss Lady, connect with Alexia, and see what you can do to donate. Maybe you can donate some book bags. Maybe you can donate some type of resources to keep Juneteenth up, to keep it right, and to keep it ours. All right. I want to talk about something that's really serious. I don't know if you realize this, but I think last week in the newspaper, in the Blade, people started sharing this story about rescue crisis. Mm-hmm. And last month was Mental Health Awareness Month. And we talked about that. We talked about some of the things that you can do when you're feeling nervous or anxious. That's kind of what I do. Only to find out that one of the premier agencies in Toledo that service everybody 24/7 is closing. How did this happen? You know, why didn't anybody know? And what are we going to do about it? Well, last week I saw online that not only Julian was there, Hunter, I was calling Hunter Prey, but Hunter, yeah, Hunter was, I was going to use his government name, but I'll call it Hunter Prey. All right. I saw Hunter Prey, Sabrina, Jameson, and Julian there. So for Julian, you were there speaking truth to power regarding rescue crisis and how it affects us in our community. Why do you think it's worth the fight to keep rescue crisis up and going?
Rescue crisis has been for the people. It's well documented. People are exploited. People with mental disabilities or people that are addicted get exploited. When they get exploited really at every part of the system, they get exploited as addicts out in the streets. I should say, get exploited as addicts out in the streets. We get exploited through our insurance companies and sometimes through rehab centers, through getting services that are never asked for or even medications that are unneeded. For those rehabs to become more profitable. And, independent of all of that, for the past 50 years, rescue, whether you have insurance or not, has been there for people that are in mental health crisis, for people to say it plainly, for people who may die and kill themselves. Okay. We're talking about, and it's just a service that a lot of places don't have, right? A lot of places, we're very unique, and Ohio, for all the things that we're behind on, one of the things that we're ahead, and even specifically Toledo, is the way that we look at mental health. Yep. And how it's a real disease and how these things need to be addressed. And so, without any profit motive, Rescue Crisis has been there to answer the call any time of the day. When one is having a mental health breakdown, one's mind doesn't say, "Oh, is it office hours? Is it 9 to 5?
Right.
Is it Monday through Friday? Right. One can have a breakdown. Actually, in my experiences, I've seen oftentimes it's most likely one will have a breakdown when facilities are closed, right? When the help isn't available, right? I think it's quite likely for somebody to have a mental breakdown at Saturday at 3 a.m. than maybe, 9 a.m. on a Monday. It just tends not to work that way. And so it's important to have this round the clock service. It's important to have someone there to be able to pick up the phone and say, you can come here right now. You can spend the night here right now. We will get you the resources and the services that you need right now. And in being someone that has been through that personally, I've had to go to rescue before, right? I've had to have close friends and family go to rescue before. And to be able to have that as an option is really is something that adds value to life here in Northwest Ohio. And when we talk about the disparities when it comes to healthcare coverage, when it comes to life and the way that the inequities in our society life. It's a lot of times we don't realize the telltale signs that one may be mentally unhealthy until it is a crisis.
Right.
Right. Until one doesn't want to be here anymore. And so a lot of those preventative measures, we may be lagging behind a bit as a community. And so that's all the more reason why it's important for us to fight for rescue crisis to stay open. Now, I do hear that there's talk of there being another vendor, of there being another this or that. But what really scares me is what happens in the meantime. What happens when people fall through the cracks? We're going through one of the most trying mental health times
Ever.
Yeah, ever. At least in a couple generations. I would say ever. Right? We've seen 600,000 Americans die domestically from a virus. Right? And we've been cooped up inside for a long time, for a year and a half. I would even say that if somebody, has gone through this completely smoothly,
I don't know if
I would have to challenge the truthfulness. We had talked about that.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't want to say I got it together because I really don't. But it's been a trial for me. It's been a trial for my wife. It's been a trial for my son. Mm-hmm. It's been a trial for all of us that attend the mosque. Just imagine, most people are used to us being on the corner selling the Final Call newspaper. Mm-hmm. There were 6 months out of the year that we stopped everything.
Right. Yeah.
So everybody that was used to selling the paper, selling oils, being in the barbershop, selling bean pies, all of that stopped.
Yeah.
Everybody's routine just shifted.
Yeah, and there's people who, like myself, I know I need, I go to meetings. I go to 12-step meetings. I'll break my anonymity, right? And that's important for my mental health. But all of a sudden, when those meetings are no longer available, when support systems are no longer available, you mentioned, going to your, what keeps you spiritually grounded. Mm-hmm. These are traditions that one builds their life around that had just been wiped away in a weekend. And so, it's important that as we move forward as a community, that we make sure we are proactive and we look out. People know over the past 50 years where rescue is, what number to call. They know it's called rescue. You know what I mean? And I worry what's going to happen when people don't know where to go. Yeah. When people are like, oh, no, I heard rescue closed. Well, I ain't going. No, I ain't going to the hospital. No, I ain't going. Because, I'm not sure if anyone has ever dealt with one in a mental health crisis personally, but people going through a mental health crisis can be quite stubborn.
Right.
Yes. You know what I mean? And it's the comfort of knowing something that's steadily always there and knowing what to expect in one of the most unexpected moments in one's life is reassuring at a very unassuring moment. Yeah. And so, we're demanding that whoever it is, and one of the things that I said in the speech that I gave on Saturday is at some point or another, the humanity of the individuals has gotten lost in this conversation, has gotten lost in these negotiations, and people became numbers.
That's right.
And when you think about that one person that you love that's changed your life, whether it be your mother, father, friend, brother, sister, whatever. Think about who you love and how your life is different because that person is there.
That's right.
Think about that one conversation, whether it was with a teacher, a mentor, a friend, or family, that got you back together, that helped maybe talk you out of doing something that you knew you were better than doing. Just one conversation. Now think about the amount of people they see in a day, a week, a month, a year. We're talking a huge quantifiable effect on the lives of thousands of people and how that affects thousands of families. And so we cannot allow that type of negative, we cannot allow that type of lack of support to occur. We've been talking about it for over a year now, to defund the police and that we need to increase mental health services. We're going in the completely opposite direction right now by increasing policing. We just had a police class of 22 go through and become police officers just this week. And we're taking away mental health services. When we look at what this city and this county is actually doing, they're doing the opposite of what we ask. And they're playing like they're listening to us. But when we look at their actions are speaking so loud, I can't pay attention to what they say anymore. I have to look at what they're doing. And what they're doing is the complete opposite of what thousands of Northwest Ohioans said and demanded when we took to the streets last summer, and what the rallying call has continued to be. And they should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, it looks like that rallying call may have to be made again, and that rallying call may have to be made regarding mental health in our community. Jody, if you can, while we're here, post our number. If you have an anxiety, stress, or depressed, please call. It's at 866-712-4401. If you're Spanish speaking, we have someone online that's waiting to talk to you. If you're English speaking, there's someone that's waiting online to speak to you. They're culturally competent. These are those of us that love our people, that love humanity, and recognize that there may be a transition period from if we're not able to save rescue, then what's going to happen between that time?
Right.
That the next person comes in, and whoever else comes in, we're still going to demand the same type of understanding, the same type of work, the same type of 24/7 that rescue had. But I still think, Julian, that we can save it.
Yeah, and let me just say this for anybody who might be listening. If someone is suicidal and they can postpone those thoughts or that action for an hour, just an hour, their chances of surviving those suicidal thoughts goes up dramatically. So if you know somebody, make that call.
Right.
There's no shame in that.
Right.
Make that call.
Right.
Or call for somebody.
And as men, I think that a lot of us are socialized into thinking that we don't need help. A lot of us are socialized into thinking that we can do it by ourselves, walk it off. We don't talk about it. These are the type of stigmas that's attached to so many of us suffering. Yes, I'm a Black man and I can call. Yes, I'm a Black man and I can ask for therapy. I can ask for counseling. If you can get a checkup on your car at AutoZone, we can get a checkup on our mental health and our mental wellness. All right.
And I do want to add something in here too. A couple of years ago, me and Brother Washington became mental youth health counselors. It's something I'm very proud of, because for those of you that have not read or ordered one of my books or heard one of my videos, that is the subject that they're on. It's about suicide, domestic violence, relationship trauma. Last year, I lost about 12 people that I was very close to. 2 of them due to suicide. So it's a subject that I take very personally, not only because I'm an author that produces books to try and help people find help, but being the child of the system, that's not just a moniker or name tag or something like that.
You were that.
I literally was that. And one of the steps into, I guess, placing you in a better situation, as their words are, you could go to rescue. You talk to counselors. For me, myself, I was terrible children, but there was that option there. There was somebody to talk to. There was things that happened during foster care that I wasn't able to deal with. And I did spend a week, and I guess a little transparency for myself, I did spend a week in a facility because I could not deal with the detachment from my mother and my sister. So I tried to resolve it on my own. They're covered in tattoos now, but it's something that if you take it away, what do you have left? Like Julian said, we asked for police. Now you're going to take away, as this year has increasingly been mental health. Take care of yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Now you're again putting a gun to the back of not just adults' heads, but children's heads who go through foster care when that is their outlet.
Right.
That's where they take them to be assessed, or if they need other things, because not all parents are good parents. So now you're not only eliminating that for adults, you're eliminating it for children. And as he said, let your actions speak louder than your words, because we got a food desert on the east side. And little birdie has told me through one of my connections that it might be turned into not another grocery store, but a plasma center. You don't know what those do in communities.
Right.
And I just want to give a special shout out to Mary, who I had the honor and privilege to speak with on Saturday, who I believe does some work there and is just a fabulous ally. You know what I mean?
She's in the chat right now.
Yeah, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate all the work that you do. And I just wanted you to be seen and acknowledge that. So thank you.
All right. Hey, listen, while we're talking about mental health, we're going to take a break.
Okay.
All right. We're going to take a break, and we're going to show a short clip. This is Keep Cook and Bike Rides Matter. Something as simple as riding a bike can be therapeutic for the times that we're living in. Mm-hmm. So hang with us. We'll be right back. This is the CSRN Video Minutes, our weekly podcast.
If you can ride a bike without falling, then you're good to go. Bike Rides Matter. It's a community bike group. We get together for fun, fitness, and fellowship. We ride weekly. Right now, we got a Tuesday ride where we ride on the UT Trail. We do Saturday right here at Uptown Green. That's our glow roll Saturday night. It was something I was already doing with my daughter, just riding bikes, and we just decided it would be cool to add the community, because we were just finding ways to make fun given the situation. Being that everything was closed down and options were limited, bike riding is one of those things you can do without any restrictions.
You get to make new friends and just like interact with people, especially during COVID. You still like have your mask on and stuff, but it's still good to like see people.
It's a cool way to stay fit. We talk while we riding, we got music while we riding. I've met quite a few new friends and new people. I made some real cool connections throughout the city. Take advantage of the time you have. Take advantage of this pandemic. I know it's a lot of restrictions, but you can be creative and find new ways to have fun, one of which is this right here.
Yeah, Jody. All right. Hey, look, we are back. This is CSRN Video Minutes. And I'm Brother Washington. I'm along with Julian and Jody. Hey, listen, we're going to do what we call our loose ends. This is where we tie up all of the things that we've talked about, kind of summarize. I really want to start with Jody. For one person, I think that I saw you in two places at the same time last week, and I was wondering if my computer was messing up. For you, Jody, what are some of the things as an artist, as an entrepreneur, what are some of the things that you've been involved in the community that people should know about?
Over the last week, again, this is my self-care. So a lot of people have termed, or according to term, they have a Jody or a walking billboard, because it's not just I show up for an event or I show up because of this is happening or some celebrity is there. I show up consistently. Maybe not as often as you have your event, but you're going to see me a few times throughout the year because that's just, I love my community, and it doesn't matter who's there, what's going on. So this weekend or last weekend, because this week is opening week and I'm kind of consumed with my schedule of the Mud Hens opening and shout out to Lido and all that good stuff at full capacity. So I'll be at work downtown dealing with all the minutiae of that. So this weekend I made it a point to stop as many places as possible. I went over to the Colors Art Gallery and checked out Nicola's Welcome, who does programs throughout the week, all kinds of stuff, kids painting and events and stuff like that. We have postponed the jazz festival that we were going to do on the 29th to a later date, and it's coming up. We're doing the pre-planning and stuff for that, but also to check out because she is a space, so she has vendors there, and I had actually learned when I went there that Sonia, one of our local farmers and gardeners, has her products up there now. So you can go up there and pick up the sea moss, and there's also Optio Go. Shout out to Kristen. Kristen, and the bus and stuff like that. So I went up there, talked to them. From there, I went to a friend of mine in the industry because, I've been in the entertainment industry about 20 years. I've done radio, I've hosted shows, I've DJed. Yes, I have. A couple of appearances in nightclubs and stuff like that. But there isn't much that I haven't done on stage. So I ran into one of my friends, Joy Velli, who's a local and global artist here. She has her new broadcasting company. They'll be filming and doing a whole bunch of stuff, but she's been doing community givebacks. So her organization is called Royalty of the North. If you're listening at any point in time, search up Joy Velli, Brian. She goes by the female Machiavelli. But we had a good event. We served I think it was around 70 kids or so. Wow, awesome. We planned on doing more, and I know they did more because this was that third one. So whatever we didn't do that day, I barbecued, I cooked. I also opened the stage for all the artists because that's something that everybody is getting back to, booking shows and stuff like that. Me, myself, I'm a poet, amongst other things in forms of stuff with the artists, but I get to open shows. So I'm not going to be that hype person that's up there doing all this stuff, but I can open and close a good show and make you remember it for years to come. So I did that, shot a lot of photos with them. The next day, I also went to Keitha Shears, who owns Hotbox Bistro, which is now located in 1919 Monroe, where the old Sukit, I think it was called, was a hookah bar, and before that it was the Blueprint. So if you're not age, you might remember the blueprint.
Hey,
But she's there right now with the Hot Box Bistro, and they had a First Friday that was sponsored by Sean Scott and Lance Self, who me and Jillian both know. So it was a good way to end the night by going to support a local business and just to have some fun, unwind. I got to talk to her to discuss with some things because I am an actual business owner. I've just been waiting for the right time. So I got something going on there in August like the world has never seen before. Next day, I went out to Sonia's. They had a community garden workshop that they do every Saturday for the kids. If you want your kids to know about gardening and planting, I implore you to go visit Sonia, not just because she does urban holistics, the Tatum Park, and I believe today 4-year anniversary of urban
absolutely.
holistics. So shout out to you, Queen. You're doing so much in the community, and it's amazing. I love every time I come to the farm and I can learn. Shout out to my friend Tia Lynn, who is another author friend of mine, because I write books too. I know it's a long exposition, but I'm doing a lot.
That's all right. It's all good.
But that was her first day working with the organization. And funny thing about it, as Brother Washington knows, because I also work with the Eden Garden, I collect coffee at work. I don't drink coffee, but hey, that's just my personal stuff. But since I'm at work, we serve coffee to people, so I collect coffee grounds. I juice every now and then, so I also collect that food pulp and give it to local farms. So I stopped by with my coffee, and lo and behold, today they were actually going to be using it. Wasn't going to be set somewhere.
Yeah.
So we showed the kids how to make dirt with the coffee grounds, and it's being used as for potato boxes. That's set up. You probably see that on her page. Check out Urban Holistic, Sonia Organics, or any of the other offshoots. That's the Art Tatum Beautification Project.
Right.
If you look it up on Google, we're working on that Tatum Park. So it's an actual thing, no matter where you look for it in the globe. And then there was a community fair down the street. I walk a lot. Hey, walking is good for me. I got my walking stick that's behind Julian's head. But at Gunkel Park, so a whole bunch of other organizations came together. I saw Glazing Gourmet, Rashawn, out there with his food truck. So he just actually, it's been a little while since me and him, because we're a graduating class from the health department. If you do want to be a chef and sell dinners and all that stuff, you got to do some legal stuff. So me and him were part of that graduating class, and now he has his food truck. So the Glazing Gourmet is going to be at a lot of funnel cake festival, things like that. I'm very proud of him coming from where he has came from and everything. I also saw Rob Pasker. He was out there doing stuff. And then a whole bunch of people. It was like another little family picnic, kickback there, barbecue. Shout out to DJ Faithful. I was on the show with him a couple months ago with DJ Breeze from 419 Podcast. We did the Essential Vibes. And saw him, chopped it up, gave stickers out to everybody, gave wristbands out to kids and everybody, because just because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a little bit better than I was a year ago, 10 years ago, doesn't mean I can't continually give back to my community. It's a good way to brand. It's a good way to get your name out there, because my stuff is very unique. You might go around town, see it on a pole, but went to those two events, hopped off to work, and there's a lot of stuff coming up. So please, I implore you to check your calendars. I'm also one of the executive board members of Hoodstock. We got something coming up in August that is going to happen this year, so be on the lookout for that. I am a board member. I'm a lot of stuff, so y'all probably looking like, what is he talking about? But I'm the board member of the Village on Adams, and last night we just got approval. We are moving forward. So if you missed the block party, that is coming up at the end of July. West End, all those people and stuff. Yes, since all the restrictions are done, you got the concert and the park series. You got Tracy and Moan Fletcher with the free movie theaters in the park and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Zombie Crawl is coming back. We will have there's not an official Pride parade, but we will have a Pride event down at Julie, help me out here. Yeah, at the one bar that's down there, but again, George's. So
I was going to say that.
Yeah, we will have an event there for Pride in August. Again, I support everybody. I'm a celibate Buddhist monk, so don't start me getting things thinking of that. But
I don't even know what the hell that meant. But okay,
some people are weird. Some people look at podcasts, and because they have no life to live themselves, and I'm not trying to be toxic, they try and judge people. through a lot of that on my social media pages and counseling other businesses who people try and tear them down. And that's the reality of it. I'm a little bit different because there's not many people that can keep up with me, but I always do want to let you know that no matter how big my smile is, I'm either a sergeant at arms or something that is also not just protecting the money, but protecting my community.
Oh, okay, all right. Hey, look, I want to mention a couple of things, and then we're going to pass it to Julian, and then I think we'll be ready for 5 minutes of heat. I want to give some shout outs to a few people that I've seen doing some amazing work. First, I want to start off with New Order Human Rights Organization with CeeDee and Sabrina, Anika, and everyone that's involved, that they're still keeping the heat on, in particular Sabrina, because she was with us on Saturday at Rescue Crisis Center. I want to give a shout out to Hunter Prey. If you haven't seen the Mud Hens,
Still my thunder. I was going to say that.
Okay, yeah, because that's a fellow poet or spoken word artist. Hunter, you killed it. Never before I wanted to be like a super fan of the Mud Hens, but I found myself like I'm a Mud Hen too. after seeing you perform that piece, that was awesome. And as Jody said, I wanted to give a shout out to Sonia Ramel. I'll go to her page. She just uploaded an interview about her and about her life. And when I engage Sonia, the first thing I think about is Tatum Park Jody. First thing I think about is urban gardening, her products, her being a Black Lives Matter Award recipient, the virtual had. But look at her interview and and learn something about this sister's life, about her family, and you can really understand what makes her her. I remember meeting her in the early 2000s when she had a vision of that garden. And sometimes when you engage visionaries in the early stage, some people might, whatever, and she told a group of us what she was going to do. This was long before you seen what's happening at Sonia Organics. And keep pushing through, Queen. Eden Community Garden with Sister Yvette Muhammad and everybody that joins the garden on Sundays at 4 o'clock at the 300 block of Boston Place. Growing your own food is like printing your own money, all right? You never have to on our former slave masters and their children, because if it goes down, and it is in America, it's going down. We can't be lining up at Walmart and Kroger's like they're going to feed us, all right? We better have something put away for ourselves. And lastly, I wanted to bring up LJ Hamilton, and I bring him up as one of our CSRN members. He was the first person that told me that, hey, listen, this was maybe in 2014 or 15. He said, hey, if you guys are going to move forward, you're going to need a spokesperson, because at that point, Julian, we would do something, but nobody knew who that figurehead person was, and that was important early. And he inspired me to start looking into that, and we start looking at you. All right, before you knew, we was checking you out. We was checking you out. So, and also, hey, listen.
Tell me about how you've regretted that decision.
Oh, you know what? I made a lot of bad decisions, but I think that was the right call. It was the right call because a lot of us were growing. A lot of us were learning this thing of social justice and being considerate of others while we're doing what we're doing, and making all of these mistakes and having somebody to be the spokesperson for all of our mistakes. I can't say that I regretted it at all right? This has been a wonderful journey. And I wanted to lift up LJ Hamilton. He's having a $1,000 slam. This is going to be the 25th of June.
I'll be there.
All right, 9 p.m. All right, past my bedtime, so I will not be there. All right, but that's going to be at the Spotlight. That's another business that a lot of us spend a lot of time at. So if you can, check out Spotlight. Check out LJ Hamilton and the $1,000. I could use $1,000.
Between Jody and LJ, y'all gonna make me start writing some poetry.
I don't think so.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish.
I don't think so.
Knick-knack, paddywhack, get a dog a bone.
I tried and
I want $1,000 now.
Okay, all right. I'm sure somebody will open up a Monopoly board and say, yeah, here you go.
We're going to give you some Dogecoin and crypto.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, you know, I'm talking about Dogecoin. All right. I can't lose enough of that. All
Hey,
right.
the market's down. Now's a good time to buy, by the way.
Okay. Hey, listen, and last before I turn it over to Julian, and I want to get to 5 minutes of heat. Hey, listen, you might not see Ruth. She's on her way back. I'm looking like that. Yep, she's on her way back. So look forward to seeing Ruth either popping in or showing up in person to tell us what to do. Hey, can't wait for that. But anyway, going to be returning soon. Julian, it's about that time. Anything you think we missed before we pass it on to Jody for 5 minutes of heat?
Yeah, there's a lot of other things going on. And 5 minutes of heat, I feel like this has been about 65 minutes of heat. With how hot it is in here today, the sacrifices sometimes you don't see. But yeah, there's a voting rights bill. Our rights as voters are being attacked all across this country as marginalized people. There are the Republicans still have the majority in many of the state legislatures across the country, and Ohio is not the Ohio's, right in line with that, and they're pushing these. Essentially, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 or 65 expired and was not renewed around 2012 or 13. Mm-hmm. And essentially, a lot of these, a lot of the protections that were in that Civil Rights Act have been eroded away. And now, because, simply put, the demographics make it very clear and plain that the Republican Party is going to lose if they, you can only hate on so many different marginalized groups of people. If you don't like Black people, women, young people, gay people, there's only going to be so many cis heterosexual white men that are going to be are going to uphold the bigotry that is the in-your-face bigotry that is the Republican Party platform. So what they're doing is suppressing the vote. This is Jim Crow 2.0, and we have to resist it, right? And while I realize this is being said in the backdrop of maybe some people not being the most satisfied with Joe Biden or things like that, we have city council elections coming up. Local decisions are being made on a very ground level, right? We had a sheriff election last year, and the man that's currently elected sheriff is exploring the decision of moving the Lucas County Jail and expanding it to the location where the health department is today.
Again,
right? And so, these elections have consequences, and if you don't vote, then you're not making your voice heard at all. And sometimes just voting and letting people know that your demographic is being counted and your voice is being heard says something in itself, even if you don't know everything about the person or the candidate or the issue. They look at how many people, I was going to say how many bald-headed Middle-aged men that wear blue T-shirts vote. But no, but they do say how many people from this age to this age vote, and politicians target right those kind of groups, and they will form platforms
specifically around them.
Exactly, specifically around the groups of people that they think are likely voters. So it's important that we make sure that we use every tool in the toolbox. Voting isn't the only tool, but it's one of many, and it's one tool that we cannot afford to put down and not use.
All right, Julian. Hey, listen, we're going to come back with 5 minutes of heat. That'll give Jody enough time to flip through his tablet and give us something smoking hot. So stay tuned. CSRN Video Minutes. We'll be right back. We are back. Of course, we're missing Julian, but it's all right because it'll be our show now. All right. Well, having him in the middle. Hey, listen. Before we get to 5 minutes of heat, I wanted you to check out the scroll at the bottom where it talks about how you can support us through our PayPal or our Cash App, and our cash tag is CSRN 419. Our PayPal is CSRN 419. Thank you for supporting us. It allows us to support a lot of people that are trying to get things started, that are trying to find their voice in advocating for justice, equality, and freedom. So let's have Julian slide back on in here. All right, look, the magic of the internet, just like that.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Jody, how we put a cap on things is our 5 minutes of heat, and then our solidarity pledge. You got something in your hand. What do you have in your hand? And then let's get into 5 minutes of heat.
So for those of you that stay consistently watching every episode every week, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook Live, a replay, or Spotify, Brother Washington mentioned something last week. And again, I do quite a bit, and I've made the sacrifices over the last year to be able to do even more. So while I'm preparing myself, today's 5 minutes of heat is going to be Simple Man. I think that piece best fits what's going on. Brother Washington, you hand this over him just like that, is going to reveal what's in that just like that to the camera before he gets to see it to the camera as he slowly slides it out.
I was gonna say use a fool for this one. Oh man, I cannot believe that. Oh man.
So last week he had mentioned that our background, and because of last year in June or May 30th, this was a picture taken at the moment, just a moment as we were having something going on. I think we might have had Dia coming over trying to yell something, but as you can see, we're and that's us. So again, I own a printing station and stuff like that. So I said, hey,
I am surprised. I am surprised. I'm usually the one to say, you can't surprise me. 20 minutes later, I'm surprised. That is beautiful.
So I'm sure you'll be seeing this in some of our future podcasts or out on the protest lines if that happens again. For people that are new to this life, a protest and demonstration is something that happens in reaction to something that has been kept silent for too long. It is not all the work we do.
I am surprised. I thought, I love you. I love you. I love you. And usually I try my best, Julian, to try to think what Jody's going to do before Jody's going to do it. All right. I try to second guess him. I try to pre-think him, and I've been wrong every time. Every time. Man, come on, tears. Y'all better not. Y'all better not come out. Okay,
so you're not crying. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Oh, yeah, I'm not crying. That's you.
I'm sweating.
That's you.
I'm not crying. I'm sweating.
Yeah, I'm sweating right out of my eyes. I am so happy. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, Jody.
So again, March 23rd, 2015, my life changed forever. Decided to get on stage, and it wasn't behind somebody's radio show. Shout out to Castoff, shout out to Prophet, Tiffany, Frank, everybody over there. It wasn't at a play. Shout out to Della, shout out to Shawana, people that I've worked on stage plays with. Shout out to Opal, people that I've done movies with, and Cece. But it was me. It was this person who was just learning what entertainment was for himself. So this is one of the very first 5 that I use to explain to people everything that has happened now. They say words are powerful, and if you speak them long enough, you'll manifest the life you want to live. So let's begin. Peace. I would love to live up to the person people make me out to be. Strong-willed, outspoken, never sheds a tear. Always has something positive, yes, positive or inspiring to say. And always a smile, yes, always a smile upon my face. But I am just a simple man, you see, who most of the time I am filled with fear, regret, and responsibility. But hope, yes, hope. Simple man, yes, this simple man can bring some type of unity into his community. While I bear the full weight, the full weight that I cannot fail because there's no one, absolutely no one to catch me if I fall. Just a simple man looking for someone to trust as much as I believe in myself. Yes, myself. And not be deceived by the few lost souls whose hearts are hardened and calculating from trusting just one too many. Just a simple man that is seen through the eyes and lives of others and wants to do more for the lost, forgotten, misunderstood, outcast, yes, outcast and rejects, whose only crime is believing that there is no box. Yes, there is no box but the one that you create. You see, I'm far from being rich and too informed to simply ask for wealth to fix it all. So I lend you my ear and knowledge from past mistakes and hopes just to reach one, yes, one that will evade most of the mistakes that this simple man has made the time given to him. I want more than I believe time will allow me to complete. I am a simple man with dreams bigger than my wallet and hopes and imagination that cannot be quantified, determined, or calculated, yes, calculated by someone's doubt. What makes me a simple man, you see, is not faith, age, race, fear, income, or pain. Yes, pain. But the fact that while I speak, you respond. Yes, you respond. And I know I'm not alone because I still have the attention of those I've yet to reach. In peace.
Thank you, brother, and thank you again for this print.
Yeah.
All right, let me This is beautiful.
Yeah, it really is.
Beautiful. This was taken by Cheryl Williams.
Yeah, shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out, and we'll make sure we put something
Cheryl.
on the back of this or somewhere down here.
Original.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you,
Another item
Cheryl.
that'll be going in historical logs at some point in time.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Thank you. In order for her to take this picture, we all put ourselves in harm's way.
Yep.
All right. Behind us was the Toledo police and the snipers on top of that building.
And that's why I was behind everybody in that photo as I spoke last week.
And in front of us were hundreds of people. So for Cheryl to be where she was to take this picture, arm's way, and everybody that was there for the Toledo Police Accountability rally, thank you. All right, thank you.
And I'll be posting. I'm going through some edits right now as we lead up to Juneteenth. There's a full version of interview that Roxanne Elias gave to all of us, and I'll be posting clips of that, the one-on-ones from Jody, Brother Washington, and myself as we lead up to Juneteenth.
Yeah, we got the Julian cut. Screw you, Snyder.
I also want to give a brief shout out to Armstrong. Something I never thought I'd say. Armstrong Williams, who's a conservative pundit, but he had me on. Did my first nationally televised interview last night on his show, which that page is like 2 million that follow it, which is incredible. And for giving me the opportunity to talk about addiction and recovery, which is something that crosses all races, socioeconomic backgrounds, and parties. So, but I never thought we'd be able to find something we agree on with that person. You never know, right? You never know, and that's why I think it's so important as Black people we keep the dialogue open, because you never know what we may agree on, and the power and what can come with that. So as fellow Black people, let's never count each other out.
All Black lives matter.
Yeah, and we ain't canceling.
That's right. Teach.
Yeah,
that's right.
So we like to close out every.
That was hardcore.
Yeah, we like to close out every meeting. We're not throwing anybody away.
Nope.
We need all of us.
All of
in
us.
some capacity.
Right.
But
that's right.
That being said, not everybody can make it to the promised land with us. So, our solidarity pledge. Please repeat after me. I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
To love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study.
To study.
To improve myself.
To improve myself.
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
Mentally.
Mentally.
Morally.
Morally.
And physically.
And
for the benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family.
My family.
And my people.
And my people.
I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
The system.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To be a part of the solution.
To be a part of the solution.
The process.
The process.
And not the problem.
And not the problem.
I. Say your name.
Brother Washington.
Spoken truth.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To give all that I can spare.
To give all that I can spare.
Of my time.
Of my time.
My strength.
My strength.
And energy.
And energy.
To achieve. The above said.
The above said.
Now give yourself a round of applause.
All right, this is the last time. All right.
That's what we get for telling them to slow down.
Oh man. Yes. We need.
I'll be listening today.
Okay, I don't know. I think you were hearing, you heard us, but you weren't listening. But it's all good. All right, we had them too fast. Now we had them. Okay, but you know what?
We're gonna keep working. It's a work in progress, man.
Yeah,
we learn from our mistakes.
Our unity is much more than comedic timing. All right. We love each other unconditionally. And as always, all lives can't matter until
Black lives matter.
And Black lives can't matter until
all Black lives matter.
Justice or else. Peace.
Shout out to the best Black Olympian ever,
Simone Biles.
Yeah.
The GOAT.